Let my melanin shirt show during this topic. Candace Owens gets on my nerves.
Talk to him.
Scary with Melanie P. That's scary with Melanie. Come on. Here we go.
Welcome to another episode of the That's Scary with Melanie P podcast. I am your girl, Melanie P. And we have, y'all, I know y'all get tired of every episode. I am fiddling with the microphone. We have a special show today. Ooh, look at the devil. The devil is busy. Not after Joel Osteen. We have a special guest today. Their name is Melanie P, and I am excited to come to you with absolutely no outline and nothing but just me freestyling my opinion. So listen, it is the month of February. We have had 2 shows about love. Do we have any Black history? Black history, you know, Monique, Oprah, Black history. Protecting Black women, Black history. So we had a lot of shows about love and that conversation, 2 back to back. So I really wanted just to freestyle it. You know what I'm saying? It's my podcast and I don't have a guest. I want to just give you my opinion and reassure you of why you're following and subscribe to me. And speaking of subscribing, make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Make sure that you are following me on Instagram. Make sure you are following me on TikTok. I don't even have any alcohol today. I just have my coffee. It's the vibes. It's the vibes. So listen, it's Sunday. I'm recording. I'm freestyling. If you watched the last video, we were talking a lot about Monique, Club Shay Shay, and that whole interview, and it was really giving Black power, fight the power, Queen Latifah, who you calling a bitch vibes, right? And my brother was like, that was a real serious conversation and a real serious topic. Like, I'm used to you giving laughs and jokes. Like, where was that? He was like, if somebody watched your podcast and that was their first episode, they would think that you're a really serious person. And you know what? I am a really serious person, okay? I'm a real serious person with some real serious jokes in life, but it is what it is. So it's Sunday, and if you watch last week's full podcast episode, you will remember that I spoke about Joel Osteen and how his sermon just changed my whole energy, my whole vibe, and it carried me through the whole week. He done came back again. So I have not been consistently going to a physical church for several years now. But I try my best to listen to the word on Sunday. But I also try to record my podcast on Sunday. So I got to really prioritize because, you know, God come first. But I happened to catch another Joel Osteen sermon, and I'm trying to tell you, he really be giving it to the girls. He is not like the typical, you know, and the Lord said, if you want to go, he's not that kind of energy, but he is just, to me, he is a manifestation pastor. I think Joel Osteen is a manifestation pastor. And I love it. I live for it. And today he gave me these affirmations. And I'm going to read them to you really quick, y'all, because this is going to touch somebody the way it touched me. I am blessed. I am something I can't see. I am talented. I am creative. I am loved. I am redeemed. I am free. I am valuable. I am anointed. I am equipped. I am beautiful. I am attractive. I am amazing. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I am a child of God. I have seeds of greatness. I will become all that He's created me to be. If I had that, hold on, do I? Let me see. So Joel Osteen is that. Okay. He really set me up today. A lot of times the enemy will try to attack. And the more gifts we have, the more influence we have, the more voice we have, the more light we have, the more, you know, purpose that we have. I feel like the more you might get attacked, and you have to be able to pivot, understand, affirm yourself when nobody else is affirming you, and really speak to yourself. There is a song that came to my head that I cannot remember Sometimes you have to encourage yourself. That song right there. That song is a vibe. That's a song I need to actually listen to every single morning, y'all. I've had coffee, so I might be a little bit on 10. But anyway, mental health. That was my mental health. I'm doing really good. It's Sunday. It's Super Bowl. I don't even like football. I hate football, but I'm here for Usher, and I'm here for spending time with my friends and having me a little drinky drink. I'm all natural today. Ooh, for the most part. And I'm just giving. It's just giving what it's supposed to had gave. So I'm gonna just go through some random stuff that's been on my saved to talk about list on Instagram and just have a conversation and be my organic self, right? Okay, so the first thing I'm talking about is TGIF. So let me just start off and say that TGIF, for those of you who don't know, is a Fox Soul daily program with Al Reynolds, Claudia Jordan, and it used to be Funky Dineva, right? So Funky Dineva left, he quit. That's a whole nother story in itself. And they have been trying to replace him. They have been having like a, guest host on the show. So ghetto. They've been having guest hosts on the show. One week they had Flame Monroe. One week they had Quad from Married to Medicine. One week they had this guy Justin. And one week they had somebody else. This week they had Armon Wiggins. Now, I am a true fan of Armon Wiggins. I think that I watch his show religiously. I think as somebody who is an aspiring content creator, but more so YouTuber, in terms of just having conversations, podcasting, talking about the culture, talking about, relative things happening in the culture. Or Armon Wiggins, to me, is part of the blueprint of what I enjoy to watch. He's very opinionated. He has a lot of energy. He's unapologetic for his opinion, and I live for that. Now, he was on TGIF all last week, and it was very interesting seeing him on an ensemble cast and not just him on his normal show. So what are my thoughts? So that first day, I was thinking, ooh, this is not a match. His answers were very kind of long-winded, and I just got an energy and vibe, especially from Claudia, that this might not be the best fit. But, I'm like, okay, it's his first day. He's nervous. He actually said on social media that he was very nervous to be on the show. So I understood. Came back the next day, and I want to say on his second day of being on TGIF, that is when he started talking about Kandi. So as you know, if you listen to or watch The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kandi is not going to be on next season. And so she announced that at the Grammys last week. And so they were talking about, that particular topic. And one thing I think that Al and Claudia Jordan are very good at, they have a lot of friends in the industry. And what comes along with that is sometimes having to talk about those friends. And a lot of times they try to be very delicate in the conversation of, what's being talked about. Understandably so, I guess. But I feel like it could be very, they can be very delicate. When the topic of, Kandi leaving the Housewives came up, which I'm all here for, Armon was very vocal about, you're boring, bye, we don't need you, like, you're so boring, you can't sing, you're this, you're that. And I could tell that Claudia Jordan did not like that. His opinions are very much raw. Now, to be honest with you, I did get a feeling of him trying, and these are small air quotes, trying to kind of be a little bit, extra, because he was very excited about being on the show. But I ultimately think that his opinions that he gave are his really true opinions, and he doesn't, dance around his opinion. And he was very, very, very vocal on his disdain for Kandi. And like I said, Claudia, she wasn't here for that. And I feel like from then to Friday, when he last taped, it was kind of downhill from there. Now, again, I think he did a great job on TGIF. I just don't feel like Claudia was really feeling him. And at the end of last week, there must have been an episode where the topic of rape, I shouldn't say that word. I'm gonna cut that out actually because they'll cut my video. The topic of ape came up, and that's a very, very, very sensitive topic for Claudia, because we know that Claudia has been a victim of sexual assault, and over the past several years that TGIF has been on, she's been very consistently vocal about the trauma that she experienced even so many years after, because she's been a victim of sexual assault. Anytime that topic comes up, it's just okay, we need to just really be sensitive about it. I believe Armon Wiggins and Al, those two together. Now, I would be here for Armon Wiggins and Al having a show or going live together, because those two together I thought were very entertaining. I don't feel like Claudia fit into those two. And I love Claudia. I stand for Claudia. I think she's great at what she does. But I feel like Armon, Al, and someone else would be really good. But not Claudia, Armon, and Al. It wasn't a vibe. It wasn't a vibe. Now, it wasn't a vibe, but do I think it would be entertaining to watch? Yes. It would be interesting to see how they evolve. I mean, again, they don't really know Armon. And I think in any kind of relationship, you have to kind of learn people and kind of understand how to kind of mesh with them. So maybe in time it would work, but I just don't think it was 100% fit group wise, but I did like Armon. But anyway, as far as a sexual assault, there must have been a conversation earlier in the week where that topic came up, and Claudia felt like Armon and Al were giggling and laughing during, her talking about that, and she did not like it. So on the next episode, it came up again, I think with Lizzo maybe, and Claudia could not hide her feelings on her face. Now, she said later that she had been drinking and that's what it was, but I don't feel like it was the alcohol. I just don't feel like she is a fan of Armon being a actual permanent host on the show. I don't think she liked how Al and Armon kind of ganged up on her. And, she let them know on that episode Friday that, I wasn't comfortable with you and Al over there laughing and giggling. Like, her face went there was no joking. There was no jovial, gregarious type situation. It was very much giving, I am angry. I have been holding this in since last episode, because I was thinking, well, damn, it seemed like she would have brought that up in just talking to them maybe before the show started. But she was very vocal about the fact that she didn't like how Al and Armon were laughing during such a serious conversation about sexual assault. And she made that known with her energy, her face, and her words. And so after she said that, Armon, did not let her kind of move on. He stopped. He apologized to her if, he had offended her. And I feel like his apology was very, very sincere. I think it was very smart of him to apologize. But I also like how he kept true to himself and said, we can't pick and choose when sexual assault can be taken seriously. And he made a good point, because I listen to TGIF every single day. And, there has been conversation before when it wasn't a male on woman sexual assault, but maybe a guy on guy or a girl on guy conversation. And there was laughter, and there was, giggling. And so he made it a point to say, you can't just pick and choose, when to take it seriously. You can't pick and choose. And I respected him for that, because he didn't just apologize and just say, you're right. He apologized, I think, authentically. And then he, kept true to his opinion and made that point, which was a very, very good point. I also got vibes of, I don't think it was alcohol, but even there was a point in the show, on that particular show that aired Friday, where Claudia kind of had an attitude towards Al too. And I thought that was very weird. Like, he was saying something and she kind of got smart with him, and she was like, don't laugh. Or, she wasn't even joking. She seemed very serious. And she did say that it was the alcohol. she said. But I mean, I think even I was like, wow, I'm just like, I'm just giving my opinion, or I'm just laughing. It was nothing personal, to Claudia. So I don't know, maybe she was just not in the best of moods. Who knows? But it was very weird. That's the first time out of all the guests where if I feel like there wasn't a true mesh. Now, again, I do feel like out of all the other guests, Armon was the first kind of funky Dineva adjacent with energy and opinion. And I think that would probably do well in the long run. But just from that first week, I don't think that Claudia was a fan. Another good point that Armon brought up was when the topic of colorism came up. Not Armon. Okay, so Krishan Rock was saying something negative about dark-skinned women. And the topic of that topic came up. And when it was Al's turn to kind of give his opinion, he gave his opinion. But then he also said at the end, like he often does, Claudia, you have been in the conversation of colorism before and kind of had to defend yourself. So I'm really interested to see, your thoughts. And Claudia quickly shut him down and said, this is not about me. I don't want to keep revisiting this. I've already said my apologies and I don't want to talk about it. And my first thought was, you don't want to talk about colorism because you had been accused of colorism before and you had said your apology and you were done with it. But I feel like we often talk about your sexual assault experience. And I know those are not obviously the same thing. Those are kind of apples to oranges. But I feel like maybe you continuing that conversation, continuing kind of that apologetic energy would be beneficial to the victims who felt like you were being a colorist in the same manner that your consistent conversation about sexual assault could help somebody as well. So again, to Armon's point, you really can't pick and choose, these type of things and kind of topics. And I think Claudia is very headstrong. I think that she is very opinionated. I think she has a great, she's great for the show. She's great for that kind of, ensemble conversation. But I just don't think that it was the best match in terms of Armon being on the show. And I want to keep saying that maybe not the best match now, but with like learning each other and growth, it could be a good match. Even Funky Dineva actually said, I didn't see him say this about any other guest host, but he did co-sign for Armon and said, it's a hard seat to fill, but I feel like Armon is doing good. He is giving what needs to be gave, and he's doing really good. And so the fact that Funky Dineva co-signed for him, I thought spoke volumes. I did say here that I feel like me and Claudia Jordan would be really good friends. I feel like me and Claudia Jordan, again, she's very outgoing. She seems to be very much about her bag. She seems to have a brain on her shoulders, be very opinionated. She keeps herself looking good at 50. I think that she is truly I think she'd be a really cool person to be friends with and to kind of hang around. There had been something going around where little kids were going in the bathroom. So let me back up. Parents were taking their little toddlers and little kids in the bathroom. They were telling them that they could say any curse word that they wanted to say for like 30 or 60 seconds, and they recorded it, and they found it to be very funny. Now, I hate to be a prude, but I thought that was horrible. I thought that was truly horrible. It's not that serious. It's not like, oh my gosh, somebody about to get murdered. But I just didn't think that was cool. You know what I'm saying? Because little kids are very impressionable. And I feel like right now in the space that we are in society, little kids are growing up very fast. There's always a joke about, when I was in high school, I was still playing with Barbies and I had, pigtails in my hair. But nowadays, these girls who are in who are in middle school and high school look like they could be 25 years old because of social media and because of just the environment. Kids are growing up way faster than it was back in our day, and playing outside and kind of having that level of innocence, that is a very small span now of life for a child. And I just feel like I get people have social media. I get people want to have content. I get that if something is viral or trending, we're going to do it. But I didn't like that because you understand as an adult that this is just a fun thing and that, this is a temporary thing. But when that child goes to your friend's house or goes to school and they remember them cuss words and that it was okay for those 30 or 60 seconds, don't be surprised when they embarrass you and they're in another environment where it's not the time and place for curse words and they curse. And they, that could be a gateway to doing other things. So I feel like we have to be very intentional and very intentional and very, I don't know, whatever the word is when it comes to like content that involves our children and content that involves little children in any way, because I feel like these little kids just grow up so fast. And I feel like there's so many other fun, cute things that as a parent you can do fun with your kid. And cursing for 30 seconds doesn't have to be one of them. Sukihana and Bobby. Now I'm gonna tell y'all this, y'all. I don't want to sound like a hater, but Bobby Altoff kind of gets on my nerves. And I'm gonna tell you why. So Bobby Altoff had Suki with the good coochie, on her podcast last week. I feel like I look so plain. Oh my God. She had her on her podcast and it was a very good interview. I think Sukihana is so gorgeous. I think she's so beautiful with such beautiful features and just a great, fun, bubbly, unapologetic personality. And I really, really enjoy her. She goes far, but I mean, at the end of the day, she has kids, she has, mouths to feed. And so if it's paying the bills, she's grown, right? She's not a child. She's a grown woman talking about eating ass and all kind of things. She is actually of our culture now. So she was on the Bobby Altoff podcast, and here we go again, another Black person on Bobby Altoff's show. And it just I just think of her and Drake in that bed together. I think of her and I think little Yachty or whatever, the guy that got a little braids. I think of them. I think of her and Offset. I think of her and the dude Funny Marco. And it's just like, girl, it sometimes it just gives cultural appropriation, or sometimes it just gives, I'm just using these people because they're hot. I'm using them to grow my platform. You know what I'm saying? I don't like Drake's music. I don't like Offset's music. These are just people who are hot, and I want to use them. I want to get on their backs to use them to grow my platform. And there's nothing wrong with that, I guess. But what bothers me is that I want to see these same Black stars going to my podcast, going to other Black content creators' podcasts, and giving them the same opportunity that they're giving someone who doesn't even support their music or support anything associated with them. I'm quite sure if you went through Bobby Altoff's Spotify playlist, she would not have Offset on there. You know what I'm saying? She didn't even know really what Sukihana is saying. So I feel like, at least have a good balance of who she's having on her show. It just seems like she's using Black people to get views and to get those kind of viral videos. And I don't like that if that's the case. And I also don't like that Black people are supporting her more than they're supporting some of these other Black content creators and podcasters. And I'm just not a fan. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Okay, so we know that today is the Super Bowl, and we know that I don't even like football. Actually, I just really hate football, to be honest with you. I don't get it. I don't like it. It's not entertaining. I'm over it. But people have been talking about the fact that now that Travis Kelce is dating Taylor Swift, that, everybody's talking about Taylor, and talking less about football. I'm going to tell you my true, honest thoughts about Travis and Taylor. It is giving publicity stunt. I don't believe that he is genuinely into her. I don't see the relationship standing the distance of the next I don't see them together this summer. If you look at Travis Kelce, if you look at his track record, he be having the beautiful Black bad bitches. You know what I'm saying? Like, he has have a track record of Black women. And that's not to say that people can change their taste, obviously, but that's like saying I'm going from, I don't know, being a nerd to being a super popular person. Like it's just two different extremes. It's two different drastic extremes. So if his pattern is, a certain type, a certain look, a certain vibe, a certain energy, and now he drastically goes for the polar opposite of what his pattern is. And it's not even the polar opposite. It is the polar opposite. I don't see it working. I don't even see, like, when they touch, when they embrace, when they kiss, it doesn't look right. It looks weird. To me, Taylor Swift does not exude any kind of sexual energy or sexuality. And listen, this is my opinion. It's going to sound bad to some people. I don't care. When I see Taylor Swift, I see wholesome person making muffins and, having missionary sex every single day. I don't see anything jiggling. I remember I was watching Instagram and there was something on TMZ where she was doing a dance routine, and it was one where she was kind of wanting to give sexy, and she had to kind of stand up and then plop down on her chair in kind of a sexy way, and she almost missed the chair. And all I remember seeing is that when she plopped on that chair in her sexy moment, nothing bounced, nothing jiggled. And I'm like, Travis Kelce don't want this. Like, Travis Kelce, he don't want that. I think Kayla Burke is a girl he was dating before Taylor. I'm gonna have to put these pictures up so you guys can see the side by side, because it's just I don't know. I think Travis Kelce is fine. I think he's very attractive. He did have the track record too of them saying that he was very cheap. Like when he was dating these other Black women, I don't know if this is true, but this was a rumor that I kept hearing about Travis Kelce, like not really giving the women he was dating a lot of money, or being kind of stingy with, his wealth when it came to them. If that is the case, I could kind of see why he might want someone like Taylor Swift in terms of her riches, but nothing past that. It just looks weird. When she was doing the, this thing, it was given mayonnaise. Didn't like it. Now, let me be clear. I love Taylor Swift's music. I'm a fan of her. She's in my Spotify playlist. I love her music. I'm not going to lie. Most of it. This last album, I don't know nothing from it. Honestly, I don't know how she got the best female, whatever she did, but I am a fan of her music. But her and Travis Kelce, my honest opinion, is just giving publicity stunt. Jay-Z and the Grammys. So I know I'm late, but Jay-Z and the Grammys, I thoroughly enjoyed his acceptance speech of that Dr. Dre award. I thoroughly enjoyed how he took the time to protect and cover his wife in the moment of his speech. One of the things that people often talk about in the music industry when it comes to the Grammys is that it doesn't really seem fair, and how Beyonce has won the most awards of any female artist, the most Grammy awards, but she's never won Best Album of the Year. And, Jay-Z took that time to say, even by your metrics, that don't even add up. Like, you can't have an artist who, like Beyonce, who has all the Grammy awards in every category. Even her daughter has a Grammy award, and she's never won Best, album of the year or whatever. So, that's his opinion. That's probably a lot of people's opinion, but I just love to see him up there with his beautiful daughter, sharing that moment with his daughter and sharing that moment with his wife. He looked good. He had on that nice black suit. He had his natural locks showing. He lost some weight. He was looking really good. And he took that moment not just to be like, oh, yes, sir. Thank you for this award, sir. He took that moment to be more so like, your metrics don't work. This Grammy, okay, cool, I got it. Thank you, Dr. Dre. But, I'm going to pour my liquor, my Douce in this Grammy and drink out of it, I like that. I like that a lot. Speed round. Kim K and Odell, whoever this man is. Kim K, like me, is a Libra. And she's not going to stay single very long. Like, we just don't do that. So I'm not surprised that she's moved on to this man. I don't know a lot about Odell. What is Odell's last name? I don't even know. I know he's another football player, child. Let me see. Odell. So distracting. But anyway. So yeah, Odell Beckham is dating Kim Kardashian. I don't really care. I really want Kim Kardashian, because she's a Libra like me, I want her to find her forever love. I think that Kim Kardashian is one of those women who can't stay single very long and who just wants to have her fairy tale ending. I understand 100% what attracted her to Kanye West. I will never forget on one of her episodes, because we are Libras. I'll never forget on one of her episodes. I understood this shit more than anybody else. She and Kanye were married. She wanted to lose weight. Kanye got her a personal trainer. The personal trainer was saying something about, she doesn't know kind of what she can do to a certain targeted area on her body for her to lose weight. And she was saying how Kanye West told the trainer, that's my wife, I'm paying you. And if she wants to lose weight in her baby toe, you need to make that happen. And I know that sounds stupid and trivial to most people, but when I was watching Kim explain what Kanye West said to that trainer, I understood her excitement, because Libra women like to be led and like to be like subservient and like to be like, we just like to be led, you know what I'm saying? And like a man to take control. I'll say that. So I understand why Kim Kardashian was attracted to Kanye West. On the other end of that, Kanye West has mental issues. And, I'm sure that became a lot for her and that did not work. And I'm sure that she wanted it to work. But at the end of the day, she has access to things that we as regular women don't have access to. And she's out there looking for her forever love. Do I think it's going to be Odell Beckham Jr.? I do not. Do I hope it is? I do not. Because I think she needs a certain type of guy. And I don't see that kind of guy in Odell Beckham Jr. And he also seems like he's younger than her. I feel like all of her past people she's been with, if you could morph all of them together, if you could take Chris Humphrey's comedy, comical side, take Kanye West's like leadership, take that other football player, Reggie Bush, his looks, take, who else she dated? I don't know, just whoever, but just mix all of them together. She could have the perfect man. But I don't think she's found her person yet. And I don't think that Odell Beckham is it. I think he'll be fun for the moment. Oh my God, the white guy that looks sick a little bit. I get why she dated him, because he was fun. I think he has a big dick from what I hear. And I feel like he was fun. But I think she's just trying to find her forever person. And I don't think that Odell Beckham is it. More of my YouTube comments. Ew. So I just posted a video about the Monique and Club Shay Shay interview. And in that interview and in my video, I was just speaking about my opinion about Black women just yearning for that protection from their Black kings and Black brothers. And like clockwork, here come the comments in my clips about, oh my God, Black women don't need protection and blah, 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 wah, wah. And it's always from men. And it's just very, very eye-opening for me. People be like Twitter trolls or like Instagram thugs or whatever, and it's just crazy really seeing it happen to me because I have a public platform. Nothing I'm saying is offensive. Nothing I'm saying is dangerous. Nothing I'm saying isn't even understandable. You know what I'm saying? There is a reason why this is a conversation. There's a reason why this is a topic, because it is an issue. And if I am a Black woman speaking from my experience or understanding other Black women's experience, you cannot come at me and attack me for an experience that you don't even understand. And so it's so funny. I will post something educational or something that is, a teachable moment, which all of this is. And crickets. But people, especially men, love to come in the comments when it comes to things like protecting Black women and force their opinion down their throat. The same way I'm doing, y'all. It's very, very telling. I need to do a whole video on this because Candace Owens. Let me let my melanin shirt show during this topic. Candace Owens gets on my nerves. And I had a video before where I spoke about Candace Owens and I said some horrible things and I just took them out of my episode because, you know, at the time I wanted to be a little bit more PC and nice. Candace Owens is somebody who I think does not love herself. I think she's somebody who, if she had to choose, she would rather show up in the world white. I think that she's somebody that likes the spotlight and somebody that needs therapy. She made a comment how she would not want a woman as a plane flyer because she doesn't feel like women should be in that space. Or she said something along the lines of, you know, they are trying to push for more inclusivity when it comes to pilots and stuff like that in that space. And she made a comment about, you know, her not wanting a woman in that space just to kind of fill a quota to say they have a woman. And I feel like that's not what the article was saying. And she's always vocal about speaking out against anything that's pro community in the Black space. And I don't truly organically think that she believes that. I really think that she does that for shock value. And when you look at her husband and when you look at her pictures and when you look at just her life, I just truly think that if she had a choice, she would rather be a white woman. Period, point blank. And I just, you know, as a Black woman, I want to embrace her and help her heal. I think that she would make a very good episode of Ayanla. I think she'd make a very good episode of Ayanla. I even saw recently where she was attacking another Black podcaster and saying that this Black podcaster, Amani Talks, hates herself and, you know, hates men and all this stuff. And I'm like, girl, anything that's something negative against Black people, we can find your name first on the list. Rick Ross and his new boo, again, speed round. I did this in 40 minutes, go me. Rick Ross and his new boo. This is a dumb topic, honestly, but somebody dropped it in my comments or in my DM. They were talking about Rick Ross has a new boo and she was bragging about her new teeth that he bought her. There is no story here. There is no opinion here. It is just another Black man with a woman who would not probably date him or give him the time of day if he wasn't rich. And it's a story about another Black man who is with somebody that doesn't look like their mom, their aunt, their sister. And I think we all need help. I think we all could use, I think Black people should, as a part of our reparations, get lifetime free therapy. I really do, because we need it. All of it, actually, scratch that. All of us need therapy, honestly. Like, everybody needs therapy, but I feel like there should be just, I don't know, because I feel like a lot of Black people have a self-hate for themselves, and it shows up in the partners that they choose or some of the comments that they say or some of the topics that they're passionate about, or if they hear topics that are about uplifting and protecting and community, that is a trigger for them. And I feel like if you ever hear, you know, a conversation about uplifting Black people, about, you know, women wanting to love on and feel protection from their Black men, or about, you know, inclusivity in any area of corporate space or anywhere, if those type of topics trigger you and make you have a negative comment or a negative thought, you need to dig into that. Because if you think about slavery, and if you think about our past and where we come from, if you sit there and you actually think about the horrible past that Black people who were migrated over to this land that we built, if you think about their experiences, the things that they could not do, the obstacles they faced, the abuse, the torment, the sexual abuse, just things that I don't think our minds could even fathom. If you know even a tenth of that experience and you have a hate for yourself, then I feel like there is a deeper conversation. And I think we all should rejoice and want to have those conversations to get to a positive space. We should thrive in the conversations of, here's where our ancestors were, here's where we are, and this is what we want to do, if not for ourselves, for the culture, and if not for the culture, for our ancestors, because we're supposed to be living the dream of our ancestors. And I think you ought to ask yourself, am I living the dream of my ancestors? Would my ancestors be proud of how I show up in today's society and today's space? Would my ancestors be proud of the conversations that I'm having with other people? Would my ancestors be proud in the mate that I chose and how I treat them, and vice versa? Would my ancestors be proud of my day-to-day interactions, what I spend my time doing? Think about that. Ask yourself that question and start the conversation. This got serious very quick, y'all. But listen, this was a speed round of random topics that people have put in my Instagram DM. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you put some comments down below and share this video the way they be sharing Bobby Altal's video. I will see you in next week's episode.